Hello, Seiiti Arata. Here are 5 signs that you might be a very needy person. And when I say needy, I don't necessarily mean somebody who is like clingy or somebody who's asking for reassurance all the time. Well, I cannot say that because I don't actually know you personally. But there is another form of neediness that enters your life quietly. It doesn't have to look dramatic to cause problems, damage in your life. So this not only is more invisible, but is also more common and even worse. Here's how this works. Take a look in your life. You spend a lot of energy trying to make sure that people understand you correctly. You replay conversations in your head and you look for clues about whether other people had a good opinion of you. Whenever you're going through something difficult, you have the impulse to share that with other people so you see how they react because you want your story, your work, your struggles to matter in the minds of other people around you. And when somebody is cold or dismissive towards you, your mood changes. And sometimes that change can last for many hours. If any of these sound familiar, then this conversation is for you. This is not about judging yourself. This is about seeing clearly what needs to change. So please pay close attention to this. Neediness is not about being weak. It is about working on the right things. You over-explain yourself. That is point number 1. Sign number 1, you are over-explaining yourself. Somebody disagrees with a decision you made, and then you go and you explain, you respond. And then you keep explaining more and more because you think more context is needed, and you give all the details. And the person is already moving to, something else, but you're still there. You really want to be understood. The opposite, somebody misunderstands a message that you sent, and then you go and then you send another message because imagine the other person doesn't have all the information, right? So you decide to clarify, but then a new doubt appears. That explanation was sounding defensive, and then you send yet another message. So why does that happen? Because you're trying to solve a problem that cannot be solved. Here's the problem. You are trying to make another person fully understand your inner world, your reasons, your intentions, your experience, but that is impossible. No other person can understand all of that perfectly. Not because the other person is not interested or they are bad or they are refusing to listen. The problem is much more simple. The other person does not have access to your full internal world. Every person sees reality through a personal cognitive filter. And that filter is built not only from the person's past and their experiences, their wounds, their blind spots. So when you're explaining yourself, the other person will never fully understand exactly what you mean. The other person will hear your message through their filter. That is why over-explaining does not solve the problem. You may add more context, you may come up with better words, but you may not be able to explain your full intentions because they will still interpret everything through their personal history, their lens, not yours. And that's outside your control. When you understand this, it doesn't mean that you will now stop communicating because it's pointless. But you just understand that your self-worth does not depend on being fully understood. You can explain yourself clearly one time, and after that, it's okay. Stop wasting your energy on something you cannot control. Something else. You monitor how other people respond to you. That's sign number 2. You monitor how other people react to you. In the digital world, this is very easy to notice. You post something on a social network and then you check. Then a few minutes later, how many people liked, how many people reacted, who replied, who ignored. and then you immediately see what type of response, and your mind starts to ask, okay, why is this happening like this? But this is not only online, right? It also happens in real life. You are in a meeting, you say something that you believe is going to be funny or interesting, then you say it out loud, and you really want to see how other people reply, their reaction. Did they get your joke? Did they start laughing? In these moments, your attention is no longer on what you did. Your attention is on how other people receive your message, receive you. This may lead to some social awareness point in which you're slowly making your sense of value depend on the reactions of other people. And that is a very dangerous foundation, because all the people, giving all these reactions, they are distracted, they're busy, they are already, they have a lot of things going on in their own life. So when you identify your sense of, value based on that, that is not a very smart thing to do. They are already busy with themselves. So think about this honestly. What is admiration in most cases? It's like noise. It is a signal coming from people who are already dealing with their own fears, with their problems, their own insecurities, with confusion. So when you're deriving your sense of self-worth based on a signal that is coming from something that is so weak, that's not a smart thing to do. Acceptance and commitment therapy has a name for this pattern. I already mentioned it before. It is cognitive fusion. Cognitive fusion, you are psychologically attached to a version of yourself that depends on being constantly approved from the outside. Well, and at that point already, you stop living as a person. You start managing yourself all the time, like a constant performance. And this is exhausting because a performance will never finish. Once you do these reactions, they're never enough. One compliment is never enough. One good response will only create your need for the next one. But then you stop monitoring. You start focusing on what you actually do. Something important happens. You stop handling your identity to the crowd, and then you begin to take it back. Point number 3, you share your pain, looking for comfort. That's sign number 3. You're sharing your difficulties, your pain, looking for comfort. I'll be very precise here because this point is often misunderstood. Not all vulnerability is neediness. Sharing your pain with somebody that you trust can be really, really healthy because there is a real human connection. So this is not the pattern that we are discussing here. The pattern we are discussing here is something completely different. Something difficult happens, and your instinct is to share with other people, to show this. So you want other people to see how hard your life is. You want sympathy. You want people to be expecting less from you. You want more space. You want a softer treatment, like, oh, poor you, right? Dialectical behavioral therapy, they say that there is a term for this. This is a secondary benefit, second gain. The secondary gain is where there are hidden benefits when you are suffering. You receive more attention, you take less pressure, you feel connected to other people because they are now feeling sorry for you. But there is a cost. Every time you're suffering to receive comfort, you're teaching your brain a very important lesson. You're teaching your brain that suffering brings rewards. And once your brain learns that lesson, your brain starts to look for more and more proof that you are hurting. It starts collecting reasons for you to feel wronged. It starts building a stronger case for that painful story that you have. Then you get trapped. You don't do that on purpose. No, basically, no, very few people do that on purpose. But the pattern is there. It is real. You get some temporary comfort, but you lose your personal agency. And that is a very expensive trade. For you to be able to build your real resilience, not the kind of one that is based on pity from other people, but something that grows from inside of you. You can come to happiness. This is our training with specific tools from therapy, from psychology that you can visit at arata.se/happiness. You need your story to matter to others. That is sign number 4. You need your story to matter to other people. This is the most subtle of the 5 signs. You have been through difficult things, important things. You have made sacrifices that other people never saw. You have done work that was never recognized. And somewhere in your mind, there is still a quiet need for all these things to be known, to be remembered. But here's the deeper question. Who are you really? If you think carefully, the self is not a fixed object that stays the same forever. Your thoughts change, your feelings change, your goals change. If your interpretation of the past can also change, and over time your personality also changes. The self is not like a statue that is like that forever. No. The self is something alive. It is moving all the time. And there's another important truth. You will also not exist forever. So the need to be known is a form of self-defense mechanism. What are we defending ourselves from? You're defending yourself against impermanence. You're defending yourself against the fact that attention fades, memories disappear, things keep on moving. Maybe the world will not notice your importance. And here's what happens when you begin to let go of that need. You don't disappear. You're not erased because you're still here, fully here right now. And when you stop spending so much energy trying to be remembered or approved or emotionally reminded, recorded by other people, you become more available in a better way. You become available for something that is actually living your life. Sign number 5, your mood follows how other people treat you. This is the main sign that contains all the others. Your mood changes according to how other people treat you. Think about this honestly. Imagine a colleague walking past you in a hallway without saying hello. And then you experience some kind of annoyment. You get annoyed, like, why did they ignore you? How do you feel? If the honest answer is that this is really bothering you, maybe for hours, then the real problem is very clear here. Your sense of well-being, your calm, your ability to focus, they're all being influenced from the outside. When people are nice, they're warm with you, you feel stable. When people are cold, distant, dismissive, you feel shaken. This means that control is not in your hands. Now, the solution is not to become a cold person who doesn't care about anything. The solution is not to be also ignoring other people. The solution is to change the foundation from your inner life. Your peace must be from something that belongs to you. Your values, your choices, your actions, your ability to be aware of yourself and live according to what you believe is real. Your peace cannot be treated, threatened by the behavior of other people. You should have control of your own actions. And when your mood stops depending on how other people treat you, something really important changes. That neediness that once made relationships more difficult, heavier, it begins to disappear. What remains is something much more real. Relationships stop being exchanges of validation. They allow you to have a real human connection. So, remember this. You are not needy because there is something wrong, inadequate with you. You're needy because you built your psychological stability on a foundation that is very weak. It depends on other people. That foundation is what other people think of you, how they treat you, and this is very unpredictable. So which one of the 5 signs did you identify with the most? Find it. That's where you start. And then you see what are your values, your choices, your actions. For you to have help with that, you can come to Happiness at Arata Academy, visiting the link arata.se/happiness.